I bought this MacBook about 2 or 3 years ago, and on the first day, I remember very clearly, I downloaded about 20 or 30 productivity apps because I thought they're going to make me more productive. But after 2 or 3 years, I only use about 7 or 8 of those productivity apps, but those 7 or 8 make me significantly more productive, so I'm going to go through them all in this video. The first app that I'm going to talk about is not really an app, so I'm not actually officially going to add it to this list, but what you're looking at right here is essentially a wallpaper for the Chrome web browser. I don't actually, almost ever, open up my desktop because it's so messy. So this is essentially my desktop, and it's not really an app. It's called Momentum, and if you go to the Chrome Web Store and you type in Momentum, most of the features are free. So that's the first kind of productivity app, although it's not really an app. And the reason why I mention that is because you're going to see this screen quite often throughout this video. The first actual productivity app that I'm going to talk about is called Alt-Tab. So around 2020, I moved from Windows to MacBook, and I know I was probably a few years late, but the one thing that I missed from Windows is that when you're scrolling and alt-tabbing, you can see the previews of all the windows, and I really like this. MacBook's default doesn't have that, it just has icons. So I downloaded Alt-Tab, and it's one of the few apps that I've actually kept over the last few years. I use it every single day. The next app might be useful if you have a lot of meetings throughout the day. So I usually have a lot of meetings throughout my work day, even though I try as best as I can to keep my meetings to an absolute minimum. I'm still having anywhere from 2 to 4 meetings a day. And that is where Jamie comes in. Jamie is essentially an AI note taker for business meetings, but also if you're a university student, it can do meeting notes for like a 2-hour university lecture. Jamie is a native app and does not join the call through a virtual meeting bot. This also enables users to use Jamie across all meeting platforms, even offline. So I'll show you how it works. So now I'm in the Zoom meeting, and you can see here at the bottom there is a recording, and this is basically Jamie recording the meeting. For example, I'll test it here and I'll say, I want to follow up with John Smith. My actionable item is to follow up with John Smith. I'll send him an email to see whether he still wants to be a client. So you can see here it's come up with a decision. So Mike will use Jamie's AI to automatically select objections, etc., etc. But here's the interesting part. It's got an actionable step here. Mike will email John Smith to see if he's still interested in being a client. And I can click this to show that I have indeed completed that task. So Jamie is super easy to use. You can try out Jamie for free forever to essentially have Jamie be your own personal assistant. I'll drop a link in the description below for you to check them out. If you want to track how productive you are every day, then the next app may be for you. So I've been using Rize for a couple of years now. The problem that I had was that I didn't really know how productive I'd been that day because I work for myself. And so I downloaded Rize, and it's one of those apps that you can have in the background and just forget about. So you can see April, how many hours essentially I've spent in front of my laptop doing work. And you can see on Sundays, I work very little, at least on a laptop. So you can see I do about 3 hours of work, at least on a laptop on Sunday, about 1.5 on Saturday, and then 10 hours on Friday. But what's also interesting is that you can see by category what you're spending your time doing. So I'm spending a lot of my time in April doing video conferencing, often calls. And then in May, again, you can see the same thing. So about 6.5 hours in front of a laptop, 7 hours. And then on Saturday and Sunday, not a lot of work at all. The one caveat that I found with Rize, and this isn't Rize's fault, but it doesn't track offline meetings. So for example, if I have a coffee with a prospect, then obviously Rize isn't going to know that because I'm not going to have my laptop in front of me. Again, it's not Rize's fault. I can add it manually if I like into Rize, but I choose not to because I'm not that bothered. I've tried quite a few productivity trackers out there, but I really like Rize in that you can have it running in the background and essentially just forget about it. So definitely my favorite productivity tracker. Habit trackers are essential for my productivity. I really like tracking my habits, and I use Habitify for this. So they have a MacBook app here. However, the main reason why I use Habitify is not necessarily the Mac app, but it's the iPhone app. So let me show you over on my iPhone. So it's 5 p.m. in the evening, and you can see here how many habits I have done so far today and how many I have left to do. So you can see here I do swimming every day, I run 3 times a week, and I do cycling 2 times a week. I eat healthy 6 times a week, and strength training 3 times a week. And essentially the habit tracker just keeps me on track. What I really like about Habitify is the widgets that they have. So this is my main screen. If I scroll left, you can see all the things that I have going on, including my calendar and my task list or weekend task list. Then here's my home screen, and then I swipe right and I can see immediately what habits I have left to do and what I've done so far. So you can see my swimming widget at the bottom. I've done Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I didn't do Saturday, but I did do Sunday. One feature that Habitify has that most other habit trackers don't have is this community challenge. So I have a Fit in 30 challenge, and we've got a few people in here that are also competing, and I've actually got a Fit in 30 community. It's basically where we start our 30-day fitness challenges together. So I'm doing a swim 10 laps every day for 30-day challenge. I'm on about day 14, and everyone in this community can essentially see whether I'm failing or whether I'm succeeding. And there's a sense of accountability as well, because I can see how many other people have completed their habits for that day or not. And I do actually have a Fit in 30 community which I'm launching in, well, literally tomorrow. So if you are interested in starting your own 30-day fitness challenge, you can join the community. I'll be there. The team keep you accountable. It's a really good way of really making solid improvements in your life, because it's essentially gamifying personal development. Like I say, I'm on day 14 of swimming 10 laps every day for 30 days. Last month I did a run 5k every day for 30-day challenge. I absolutely loved that challenge, the best 30-day challenge I've ever done in my life. And so if you do want to start your own 30-day challenge, I'll drop a link in the description below for you to join that community. So one thing that I find really important is on my screen, I don't want a lot of clutter, right? So you can see my extensions here. I only have 3. I have 1 password, I have a currency converter, and I have Grammarly, and all the others that I have are hidden away because I don't want excess information, excess clutter on my screen. And it's the same with this bar here, where I've got all of these icons hidden away, and I use a very simple app called Bartender. This is one of the first apps that I ever downloaded, and I've kept it. Bartender is super simple to use. If I want something to show on my bar, then I just drag and drop it up like this, and then you can see here it's showing. If I want to hide something, then I will just drop it down here and it is hidden. Super simple app, but again, it's one of those apps that I use every single day because I just like a clean, clutter-free user interface. Another app that I use every day, and again, this is an app that came from when I was using Windows, and then I moved over to MacBook a few years ago, and I really missed being able to just really quickly move things to the left, to the right, and now I can do that with the app Rectangle. And so, for example, if I want to multitask and I have a Chrome tab here, it's so easy to have like Spotify on the right, Chrome on the left, and I'm using the shortcut Control Option and then left, right, up, down. I can even have this at the top and then Spotify at the bottom. And if I want to make Chrome full size again, I just do Control Option Return and it's full size again. Super simple, but again, another app that I use every single day. The next app that I'm going to talk about has saved me more time than all of the apps that I've talked about in this video combined. And this is Loom. So Loom is essentially a screen recorder that records your screen and your webcam at the same time. And it's like, okay, why is that so helpful? Well, I don't particularly like typing. And so if I want to delegate a task out to the team, normally I would have to write paragraphs and paragraphs to give context, to give instructions. But now I just film a really quick 1 or 2 minute Loom, and it's so much more efficient in communicating to someone else as opposed to just typing in text. So you can see here, I use Loom every single day. In the 1.5 years that I've been using Loom, I've filmed 560 videos, so literally multiple times a day. You can see here the kind of things that I use it for. So Loom for Angeli, Loom for Milan, Loom for Annie, and these are just like 2 minute, 3 minute Looms. And what's even better is if I click to this Loom here, the other person can play it in 2.5x speed. So it's not like they have to watch a 3-minute 16-second Loom. They can literally watch it in 2.5x speed. So it saves me time, and it also saves them time as well. The one thing that I will mention is that normally I use a Chrome extension. The problem with the Chrome extension is that it only records in 1080p, whereas the app records in 4K. So it is worth, in my opinion, downloading the app for that 4K footage. So those are the 7 apps that I use on a daily basis. If I've missed any apps, do let me know in the comments and I'll check them out. And do check out this video's sponsor, Jamie, link in the description below.